This week we're looking at the Welsh Open, trying to find the shot of the tournament. I've been scouring through all the matches, trying to find the best shots, but we're going to work out which of these is the very best shot by recreating them as accurately as possible before playing them in the fewest possible attempts. But we're beginning with Mark Selby, who pots a tough long red here and uses a second to help him screw back up the table. He was clearly queuing really well on his way to victory in this match, but ended up losing out in the second round to Aaron Hill. This requires maximum cue power to get the white back down the table, and if I miss it, the balls go everywhere. So I'm really happy this has gone in after just 3 attempts. Yuan Sijun screws this long red in now, getting the white all the way back to the bolt cushion. He ended up losing this match to Mark Selby, but it shows he was potting quite well here. Another big screw back then, and there was a few of these in this tournament, so I should be playing them pretty well by the end of this video. And 3 attempts is really good with the red so close to the cushion, so even though I didn't get back far enough, I'm going to take it and move on. Bridging over the green is no problem for Elliot Slessor now, as he not only manages to pot this really tough red, but screw back safe at the same time. He put in a great performance to get to this semi-final against Martin O'Donnell, but ended up losing out narrowly 6 frames to 5. As you can see, this shot's more than a little bit dangerous, and I'm a little bit worried about putting a hole in my table when I'm digging down at the ball over the green like this, and playing it more or less full power to screw the cue ball all the way back into bulk. However, I am getting the spin on the cue ball quite easily, if only I can manage to pot the ball. And just as I was getting close, I've chipped it again. I didn't get anywhere near the cloth that time, I just miscued it almost all on my own. However, I'm starting to get closer to potting the ball again, so surely in a minute one of these is going to have to go in the pocket.
There we go.
And I've even gone a little bit too far in the end. Now for one of the more ridiculous shots from Luca Brecel's match-winning clearance against Graham Dott. The balls looked too safe at the beginning of this break for him to make a frame-winning clearance. But not only did he did it potting some of the most ridiculous shots you'd ever seen. So I'm just looking to stun this one in, and I'm not sure what's happened on my first attempt. It looked perfect, but somehow the pocket spat it out. I've got it on my second though. Mark Selby's in a really tough snooker behind the blue, but ends up making contact with the red on his first attempt. He needed to play this shot around 5 cushions and crucially leave it safe, otherwise he may have lost a frame that he eventually goes on to win. I have no idea what to do with this one, so I'm just hitting it pretty hard in the hope that I'll definitely make it and hopefully land on the red at the same time. I've landed in the gap, however, so I'm trying to correct this on my second attempt. I think I've hit it the right way, and I seem to have landed on the red a bit too hard this time though. Luca Brecel makes a play at cheekiest double of the week now, but comes up a little bit short, leaving Martin O'Donnell this long black for the match and a place in the semi-finals. Especially considering the situation, this is a really good match-winning pot, and I think I can get it first time if I just get the angle right, and I just about managed to rattle it in. Which means it's Elliot Slessor we looked for our first double of the week in that semi-final against Martin O'Donnell. He manages to back double this ball across the table, getting the white back into a safe position. This one's all about finding the right angle and controlling the cue ball back to the bolt cushion. I got it way too thin on my first attempt, so I need to do better on my second. And I've got the double, but I just didn't quite have enough left-hand side on the cue ball. But how does it compare to this one, as Mark Allen uses it to get in position on the black and keep the break going against Robbie Williams? Now this one really is straightforward. I just need to put a bit of left hand side on the cue ball to get round the back of the black, and I should get it on my first attempt. However, I've just pushed it onto the far jaw, so I need another go. I've got it this time, even if the cue ball is a bit short of pace. I've got a good angle to go into the reds. So which of these was a cheekiest double? Cue the music. Elliot plays just your regular safety shot double, so only gets 2, whereas even though Mark's is easier, he plays it to keep a break going, so he gets 3, and he's this week's winner. John Higgins with an ultra-accurate brown down the cushion now to set up a match-winning clearance against Tian Peng Fei and a third-round match against Ryan Day. On my table, the balls tend to stick to this cushion a little bit for some reason, so I'm really not that surprised it's gone in straight away here. Gary Wilson finds himself 3-0 up against John Higgins, but in a really awkward position in the frame, and ends up having to pot this really tough long red just to get himself out of trouble. I think he was trying to keep the cue ball safe on the bolt cushion at the same time here, but because he got the pot, it just ran on a little bit too far. Gary performed really well in this match, making a maximum break and eventually going on to defeat John Higgins. He would ultimately win the title as well at the end, and I'm pretty happy with just 3 attempts on this one. Mark Allen's turn to show off his cue power now, drilling in this long red, which is only just potable because of the close proximity to the pink. I think the position of the pink is in fact so close to the potting angle of the red that on my first attempt I've even hit it slightly here. However, the shot is definitely on, and I just need to pot it and screw the cue ball all the way back into bulk, which is something I'm not really struggling with that much. However, what I am having difficulty with is actually potting the red in the first place. I'm getting quite close to this on a number of occasions, but I think I'm just being a little bit distracted by where the pink is. Now that's more like it, even if the cue ball has gone the wrong side of the yellow. Ryan Day has a really tight angle to the middle pocket next, so he cleverly plays the in-off off a nearby red to make the shot a little bit easier. Although this is quite a clever way to play the shot, I don't think it's too difficult, so I should be able to get this one straight away. Unfortunately, I didn't line it up anywhere near right. I've corrected it with my second though, thankfully. A sweetly cued shot from Luca Brecel now, as he really did look to be in the ascendancy in this part of the quarter-final. However, he did end up losing out to Martin O'Donnell in the last couple of frames, but this is a pretty decent shot on its own. I just need to pot it and screw back a little bit, but I'm struggling to get the angle right. That was pretty close, but I will need to do a little bit better. But for whatever reason, the red doesn't seem to want to go in. I think this is the most straightforward of these types of shots, and I've finally got it. In a close match with Mark Williams, John Astley pulls off quite a good positional shot to get on the last red here. Unfortunately for John, after this well-played positional shot, he missed the subsequent red down the cushion, costing him the frame and then eventually the match. It caused Ronnie to say he didn't have a snooker brain, which at the time seemed a bit harsh, and subsequently also definitely seems a bit harsh. But I potted the black and spun the cue ball round in position for the red, which can only be called a success.
There's a lot of fantastic players over the years that haven't really, you'd be surprised at some top 5 players, I won't mention names, that I don't think have a snooker brain, but they have such good technique that they can get away with it. He has neither.
There's another Luca Brecel shot coming up right after we find Jiang, who's from Chicago in the US, which is there. This is yet another shot from his brilliant clearance against Graham Dott, and although some of these shots aren't that tough on their own, when you put them all together it's a really good break. So let's see what I can do with this blue. Okay, I'm going to have to do better than that. Yeah, that's a lot more like it. I've slightly overplayed the cue ball, but it's pretty good. Martin O'Donnell manages to push the last red on now in a crucial time in his semi-final match. Now, he was almost certainly trying to pot the black here and cannon the red away cushion first, pretty much like I've just done here, but as he got it hitting the red direct, that's what I'm trying as well, and my second attempt is just about pulled up in time. So for the result, I'm giving third place to Luca Brecel. This was a tough enough shot to take on its own, but considering it was in the middle of that break, it makes it even better. Second place goes to Mark Selby with his snooker escape. He plays it around 5 cushions first time and he gets the weight absolutely perfect. But first place goes to Elliot Slessor. This is a tough shot to pot and screw back to the bulk cushion even when you're not bridging over the green. Well, now that's the Welsh Open done with, we're getting pretty close to the World Championships, so if you want to see the best shots from the previous 2 World Championships, have a look at these 2 videos. And remember, don't just watch play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later!